Welcome back to Chapters Unfolded. We love to unpack these awesome book chapters, and today we're
Hey.
diving back into Atomic Habits
Awesome.
by James Clear.
Okay.
It's episode 8, and this chapter,
Oh.
this one really had me thinking, we're going to unlock that secret to self-control.
Ooh. Self-control.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
It's not all about willpower. So if you're loving these deep dives, hit that like button.
Yes.
Leave us a comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes.
Definitely. You know this chapter.
Yeah.
It just throws us right in the deep end, with this crazy story from Vietnam.
Right.
1971 Vietnam War is raging.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got these two congressmen, and they uncover this shocking statistic.
What is it?
A huge percentage of U.S. soldiers are addicted to heroin.
Whoa.
We're talking 15%, maybe even higher.
Yeah, I was floored when I read that.
Yeah.
And you'd think coming home, after the war,
Right.
facing normal life again, those soldiers would just relapse like crazy, right?
They would think,
But
but that's the twist. The relapse rate was super low.
really?
Only 5% relapsed within a year.
Wow.
So it totally flips that idea that addiction is this permanent thing you can't escape.
So then what is it?
It points to something way bigger. The power of environment in shaping our habits.
So it's less about some internal struggle, some epic battle of willpower.
Right.
Are we saying our surroundings are actually calling the shots?
Well, it's a little more nuanced than that.
Okay.
The Vietnam study really shows us how much environment matters, but the main idea is how our brains connect certain places, sites, even feelings, with specific actions.
I see.
Think about walking into your kitchen and immediately wanting a snack,
Oh, yeah.
even if you weren't even hungry before.
Happens all the time.
That's your environment sending those cue signals.
Oh, so it's like our brains are wired to crave things based on where we are or what we see.
Exactly. It's almost automatic.
Wow.
Clear gives this great example about this therapist, Patty Allwell.
Uh-huh.
She used to smoke while riding horses. It's interesting.
Quit both habits for years, but decades later gets back in the saddle. Boom. The urge to smoke comes rushing back.
Seriously.
Yeah, that mental link, that pathway was still there, just dormant until the right trigger reactivated it.
That's fascinating and kind of scary.
It is.
So are we just at the mercy of these ingrained patterns? Is there any hope of breaking free?
Absolutely. And this is where understanding this cue-induced wanting that Clear talks about
Okay.
becomes our secret weapon.
How so?
It means we can basically outsmart our brains, not by brute force, but by design.
Okay.
Instead of white-knuckling it through resisting temptation, we can literally make those temptations invisible.
So it's less about being super disciplined and more about being a master strategist.
You got it. If your phone is a distraction while you're working, move it to another room.
Makes sense.
Feeling envious on social media, unfollow those accounts.
Oh, it's okay.
It's about tailoring your surroundings to support the you want to be. I like that. That makes so much sense. It's like setting yourself up for success by removing the landmines
Yeah.
before you even start walking.
Exactly. This is where making it invisible comes in.
So it's like the flip side
It is.
of make it obvious.
Exactly. We're reducing exposure to the cues that trigger those bad actions.
I'm starting to see why those New Year's resolutions often fail.
Yeah.
We try to rely on willpower when what we really need is a game plan.
Exactly.
A strategy.
And you know what's amazing? Clear says that even getting rid of one cue can make a huge difference.
Really. So it's not about overhauling your entire life, just making those strategic little adjustments.
That's the beauty of it. Small changes strategically applied can lead to big wins over time.
Okay.
Relying only on willpower is exhausting and usually doesn't last.
Right.
This is about working smarter, not harder.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's like a whole new way of thinking about self-control.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about all the little things I can change in my own environment.
Yeah.
To break some of those pesky bad habits, what are some practical ways we can make it invisible? So we're talking about, setting ourselves up by actually designing our surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that actually look like? Give me some examples.
Okay, so let's say those late-night TV binges are messing up your sleep.
Ugh.
Clear suggests something simple but powerful.
Okay, I'm listening.
Move the TV out of your bedroom.
Out of sight, out of mind. I like it.
It works.
What about for those of us who are glued to our phones?
Same idea.
Oh,
Leave your phone in a different room when you're working.
okay.
You
yeah.
can even have designated phone-free zones in your house.
Oh, I like that. So it's about creating those mental boundaries,
Exactly.
even in our own homes. What about impulse spending?
Ooh,
I
yeah.
know I'm guilty of that, especially with new gadgets.
Clear has a really good tip for that.
What is it?
Stop reading tech reviews. If
That.
you're not constantly seeing the latest and greatest, you're less likely to feel like you need to upgrade.
That's so smart. It's like cutting off the temptation at the source.
Brr.
What about video games?
Oh, yeah.
I know those can be a huge time suck for some people.
Easy. Unplug the console and put it away after each use.
Okay.
Don't make it easy to just jump back in.
All these small tweaks add up.
Yeah.
It's like we're making those bad habits less convenient,
Yeah,
less visible, so less appealing.
exactly. And remember, it works both ways.
What do you mean?
Think about the cues that trigger your good habits and make those super obvious.
Okay, so if I want to read more, I could like leave a book on my nightstand?
Right there where you see it first thing.
Yes, exactly.
We'll drink more water.
Always struggling with that.
Keep a full water bottle on your desk all day.
Oh, that's a good one. Make it easy to reach for the healthy choices.
There you go.
This is making so much sense. But let's be real. Sometimes those cravings hit hard.
Yeah.
Are we saying we can completely eliminate temptation?
Not really. It's not about erasing those desires. They're part of being human.
Right.
But by minimizing those triggers, you can weaken their grip.
So it's like cutting off their supply lines.
Exactly. By making those bad habits invisible, you're essentially starving them of the fuel they need to thrive.
This feels so much more empowering than just trying to white-knuckle my way through life.
It is.
It's like we're taking control instead of constantly feeling controlled.
That's the key takeaway. We have more agency than we realize.
I love that.
And this concept isn't just for our physical surroundings.
Oh,
It
okay.
applies to our digital environment, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Think about all the cues we get online.
All the time.
Social media notifications, emails,
Yeah.
news headlines. It's like a constant stream of distractions.
Exactly. Part of creating a supportive environment is setting digital boundaries, too.
Like what?
Maybe turning off those non-essential notifications or scheduling specific times for checking email.
So it's about being mindful of the digital cues that are hijacking our time and attention.
Precisely. And this brings us back to that crucial point. Self-control is less about being superhumanly disciplined.
And more about being a strategic architect of your environment, both physical and digital.
That's a game changer.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not just about breaking bad habits.
Yes.
It's also about fostering good ones.
So instead of just focusing on what we want to avoid, we can think about the positive cues we can add into our routines to make those healthy choices more automatic.
That's the key. It's about setting ourselves up for success by creating an environment that supports our goals and values.
My mind is racing with ideas. This whole conversation has been so insightful.
I'm glad. And there's still more to uncover in this chapter. We'll be right back after a quick break
Oh, okay.
to explore even more practical tips for building self-control without relying on willpower alone. Okay, we're back, and I am like, my mind is buzzing.
I bet.
After all those practical strategies,
Yeah.
it's really amazing how much control we actually have over our habits just by like changing our surroundings a little bit.
It is. It really changes things when you start thinking about self-control as like designing your environment
Yeah.
instead of just this like willpower battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into making it invisible,
Okay.
what's the big takeaway you want listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest thing is self-control isn't about being superhuman.
Right.
It's not about resisting everything. It's about being smart about your surroundings,
Okay.
understanding how your environment is influencing you, and then making those changes
Right.
that nudge you toward your goals.
It's like we're playing chess with our habits,
Yes.
not arm wrestling them.
Exactly. And one of the coolest things, Clear says, is those people we think of as disciplined,
Hmm.
they're not necessarily more strong-willed. They've
Yeah.
just gotten really good at avoiding temptation.
So they're playing the game on easy mode.
I like that analogy. Think about it. They've designed their lives in a way that makes it easier to do the right things.
Oh, that's good.
They're not constantly fighting urges because those urges aren't really popping up.
So it's not about having more willpower.
Right.
It's about needing to use less of it.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
That's the power of optimizing your environment. You're choosing the smooth path instead of the one with all the obstacles.
I love that. This whole conversation has really shifted how I think about self-control.
Good.
It's not this scary internal struggle anymore. It's about making choices that support my goals,
Exactly.
even if those choices are about what I'm not going to expose myself to.
Yeah. That's exactly the mindset shift.
That's so good.
And remember, even small adjustments can add up over time. It's
Yeah.
those little things that build up to big changes.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive into the power of invisibility and self-control.
It is powerful.
Definitely a chapter I'll be coming back to and applying to my own life.
I hope you do. As we close out this chapter, I want to leave you with a little challenge.
Okay, I like challenges.
What's one cue in your environment that you can make invisible today to weaken the hold of a bad habit?
Ooh, I like that.
Mm.
It could be as simple as putting away that bag of chips.
There you go.
That's calling your name or silencing those distracting notifications.
Exactly. Every little step counts.
Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you? What strategies are you going to try?
Yeah, tell us.
Share your thoughts and your aha moments in the comments below.
Let's keep this conversation going.
Yes,
And support each other as we build better habits.
absolutely. Until next time, happy reading. And remember, you have a power to design an environment that sets you up for success.
You do.